Ota Benga was a Congolese man born around 1883 in what is now the Democratic Republic of Congo. He belonged to the Mbuti people, a group of indigenous pygmies known for their small stature and forest-dwelling lifestyle. In 1904, he was captured by slave traders after his village was attacked, and he was later purchased by an American businessman and missionary named Samuel Phillips Verner. Verner, who had been commissioned to collect indigenous people to display at the St. Louis World's Fair in Missouri, brought Ota Benga and several other Congolese individuals to the United States for the exhibition. At the World's Fair, Benga and other Congolese were presented as examples of primitive people, a deeply racist concept rooted in the pseudo-scientific belief that non-European races were less evolved. He was placed in exhibits alongside exotic animals, intended to entertain fairgoers and reinforce racist notions of white superiority. These displays attracted large crowds, but also sparked protests, especially from Black Americans who were appalled by the dehumanizing treatment. After the fair, Verner took Ota Benga to the Bronx Zoo in New York City, where the situation only worsened. In 1906, he was placed in the zoo's monkey house exhibit, where he was encouraged to interact with an orangutan, further reinforcing the false, degrading association between African people and animals. Benga's presence at the zoo was intended to shock and amuse visitors, who would observe him alongside animals in a cage. The display drew attention from the public and press, creating both fascination and outrage. Activists, especially black ministers like Reverend James H. Gordon, strongly objected to Benga's treatment, calling it a gross violation of human rights and dignity. The public controversy eventually pressured the zoo to remove him from the exhibit. Following his release from the zoo, Ota Benga was placed in an orphanage in Brooklyn and later taken in by Reverend Gordon's African-American church community in Virginia. Benga tried to build a new life, and he even started to learn English and wore American-style clothes, attempting to integrate into a society that never fully accepted him. However, he faced ongoing prejudice and isolation, feeling homesick and unable to return to his homeland due to financial and political barriers. In 1916, Ota Benga's mental health deteriorated under the weight of these experiences. Overwhelmed by his traumatic journey and alienation in the United States, he took his own life at the age of 32. His story has since been recognized as a tragic example of the exploitation and dehumanization that indigenous and African people suffered under colonialism. Ota Benga's legacy is a painful reminder of the cruelty that racism and ignorance can inflict, and his life has prompted ongoing discussions about human rights, representation, and the ethics of displaying human beings as spectacles.